Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Avengers issue 20. And this is a pretty interesting issue where we delve into She-Hulk's whole thing with how she's dealing with her changing powers and her control of her She-Hulk aspects. And it was a pretty decent tie-in with that and what's going on with War of the Realms. So I kind of like that we had this. Thing is, even though we're going with trying to bring balance with what's going on with She-Hulk, we brought it more into line where there's getting less and less differentiation between what she can do, like her and Bruce. Now, granted, Bruce has been changed up for what his whole Hulk thing means, because it's gone from anger to nighttime, but like I'm talking kind of classic Hulk that we've kind of had in the past. They're kind of closer together, except she can gamma bomb blow up, as we see kind of them talking about in the beginning. And we see that there's this strange courtroom scene going on between the current version of the She-Hulk that we have and the older version, talking about how it's kind of destroyed her credibility, and she's essentially killing the old She-Hulk by existing. And it's an interesting aspect, seeing that like there's other versions of She-Hulk in attendance, and that Jen in her regular form is the judge. But we see that she's in this meditation thing that she's trying to do to kind of get herself under control because of what happened in Russia. And T'Challa's like, hey, calm down, your gamma's hitting like kind of critical levels. We kind of don't want you to blow up again. And she's like, yeah, I don't want that either. And she questions herself if she really does want to blow up again. And then we see her as She-Hulk fighting the trolls and kind of talking about how she kind of doesn't really miss the old She-Hulk, like being funny and everything, and that she just is having fun being this new kind of unleashed Hulk. And then we see that she's accepting the mission to go and take on the trolls in Australia, and that she's going to try and be careful with blowing up. And then they're trying to kind of compare it to what Thor's doing with the thunderstorms. But granted, yes, his storms can be kind of just as destructive as kind of a Hulk rampage. But if she starts going and letting off gamma bursts, that's different than what Thor can do with like radiation and everything. So I'm like, oh. Now, granted, they haven't delved into what happens with the fallout of a She-Hulk gamma burst, so we don't know exactly how destructive that can be. I'm just thinking, hey, there's some gamma radiation. We could have some issues there, so that could be rectified later on. Though we are seeing in this issue that it's seeded that there's a reason that the Celestials essentially made her a giant walking gamma bomb. I mean, I'm not saying that there can't be a good reason. I'm like, okay, I'm really going to be interested to see that reason. So we see that she is dressed up from the armory and beating the unholy shit out of Ulik to the point that the hammer that she was using, which is like golden uru, has pretty much melted into nothing. And then I like how Deadpool kind of pops up and says, hey, I got a quick question, Vanna. Why aren't you funny anymore? And she's like, oh, because I'm free to be ugly. And he's like, can't you be both? I'm asking for a friend. So it was really kind of cool to see that aspect going on, but she goes off to do some other things. And then we switch over to Kazar and Gorilla Man fighting Roxanne's Berserker people, and they're like, we can't get the compound into them because their skin's so tough. But of course, Blade pops up, and he's got it in his fangs, and he's biting them, kind of taking them out. And they see that She-Hulk is sent in to help provide support as they keep fighting on. Then we get to the end of the issue. We see that Jen has popped up in New York with Daredevil, and Daredevil's like pretty much bringing up what's going on, what he sees with her, that the Celestials powered her up for a reason, and for this like war that's kind of pretty far off, and that for some reason it's a war she's already lost. Like, okay, that's interesting. And then some ice giants come up and like, hey, we're going to squish these puny mortals. And then she's like, hey, we're always ready for war, and pops off. She also talks about how Bruce was envious of her pretty much in her original She-Hulk form, and that she said she was really pissed off about that. And I'm like, okay, this issue tries pretty much validates her position, but it really doesn't bring up the fact that they both have negatives with those aspects. Because, yeah, Banner didn't have to deal with all the things that She-Hulk had to, of being hit on and villains copping a feel and paparazzi following her constantly, but everybody was afraid of him and treated him like a monster. And he didn't find freedom in that. He found loneliness and things that were really hard to deal with in being that kind of outcast. And now granted, this is still more She-Hulk's perspective and her dive in, but I'm like, and there are negatives on both sides of that kind of stuff. And we'll have to see what kind of negatives She-Hulk's going to have to deal with now that she's in her more kind of hulky, kind of monstrous form, where there are other aspects that she can't control and that she's going to have to try and control with the Gamma explosion. So I'm interested to see how that kind of pans out. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.